So in the last session, we had some discussion about converting the sentence to a vector or something, right? So we had a brief discussion about that. So today we'll talk about some more insights about that approach. We took two words and try to create some numbers out of that. So basically what we tried is actually nothing but the concept of bag of words. Now we'll learn something more about this concept, and we'll try to understand how it actually works. Let's say I have four feedbacks. Let's say I have a restaurant and I'm getting feedback on a daily basis, and I got some feedbacks. Like let's say I have feedback number one or review number one. This pizza is very tasty and affordable. Right, so that is one of the feedbacks which I get. Second is I'm getting one more feedback. This pizza is not tasty and affordable. Let's say I get one more. This pizza is delicious and cheap. And finally, I'm getting one more feedback where it says that pizza is tasty and pizza tastes good. And sometimes we get this type of feedback also, right? That just conveying the same message again. So this type of feedback also you may get. Now, once I have these feedbacks with me, my first step will be I have to construct a dictionary. Dictionary means a set of all the words in my review, right? There are various words. So my first step will be constructing a dictionary where I have set of all the words in my reviews. Okay. So how this will look like? Let's try to understand that. How many unique words are there? I have this pizza is very lot many words are there, right? Let's say I have a set of words with me. Let's try to understand basically what happens here. Let's say I have various words. Let's say my first word is this, or if I sort, maybe I'll start with A or something. Let's make it this only. So my first word is this. Second word is pizza. Third word is. Fourth word is very. Fifth word is tasty. Sixth word is and. Affordable. Then again, this is already covered, so I'll not consider it again. Pizza is done. Is done. Not is not done. So not. Tasty is done. And is done. Affordable is done. Next. This is done. Pizza is done. Is done. Delicious. So we have delicious. Then we have and is done, cheap is not done, so cheap. Then pizza is done, is done, tasty is done, and is done, pizza is done, tastes. Now here you can see taste and tasty. It's one and the same thing, right? Taste, tasty, tasteful. Meaning is the same. The base word is same, right? So I'll put it as is, like as tasty only. And that process we'll discuss how to do that. Then we have cheap is done. So cheap is the last word. Then pizza is done, is tasty, and taste good. I think good is not there, so good will be one more word. Right, so these are my different words which are there in my sentences, all the sentences. So this is my dictionary basically. So if I have my review one, how the vector of review one will look like? This is there, so it will become one. Pizza is there, so it will become one again. Is there, so one again. Very is there, one again. Tasty is there, one again. And is there, one again. Affordable is there, one again. Rest all zero, because these words are not present in my review. So this is the vector for review one. Same way I will have vector for review 2 also, where this will be there, pizza will be there, is will be there. In fact, not will also be coming there, right? Not will also come in there, and other words, whatever we have. So basically here what we are doing is we are creating a vector of d dimension. We are creating a vector of d dimension, where each dimension is a word, right? Where each dimension is a word. Which are present in my total number of reviews. And you also have to understand that, see, as of now, I'm taking 4 reviews and there are not very much huge amount of words. It's like few words. When we deal with the real time problem statement, I will have a lot many words, right? I have millions and thousands of reviews. So I will have a very big, larger dictionary gonna be generated. And you can see that in that dictionary, I will have maybe less number of ones, right? Let's say I have a dictionary with a set of 1 million words. In every review, I will not have 1 million words, right? Very few number of words will be there. That means very few number of ones will be there, but there are very huge number of zeros will be there in any review. That type of matrix. So basically, I will have a big matrix, a huge matrix, no doubt about that. And I will have lot many zeros in that, right? There will be lot many zeros, few ones in every review. That is how it will look like. That is why this matrix which you are generating will be a sparse matrix. Sparse matrix is nothing but where I have majority of the fields are empty. Right? Majority of the fields are empty. And also one more important word which we should aware of, the collection of this dictionary basically. I have all the words, right? This pizza is very tasty and all, every word is there, which are there in my review. So this set of dictionary is also known as, this set of words in reviews is also known as corpus, right? Or I can say document corpus. Basically the collection of the words, right? All the words. Now let's compare our two reviews now, review 1 and review 2. Let's compare that. Let's try to understand that what will be the distance, because at the end we are finding the distance, right? So we will compare and we'll create the, what do you say, the vector for both the reviews, right? Let's create that. So I have my review one, which says that this pizza is very tasty and affordable. So here, this pizza is very tasty and affordable. I'll create the vector for this, and I will have one more review, that is this pizza is very, I think, not tasty, right? Is not tasty is not tasty and affordable. So basically both guys are satisfying with the affordability but not with the taste. One is okay with the taste, one is not, right? So let's create the vector for this. Let's create the vector for this, and same way let's create the vector for the second review also. This is my vector 1 for review 1. This is my vector 2 for review 2. These are the words I know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 words are there. 11 words are nothing but the whole dictionary. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Rest all I don't want. Same way here also. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And here we go. Now I have first word is this present here, and this present here also. Pizza present here also, is present here also. Very present here, very is not present here. Tasty present here, tasty present here, and present here, and present here. Affordability present here, and finally not present, not here, present here. Right, rest of the three words are nothing but this delicious and all those things are there, right? Delicious and cheap and good. So those words are not present, so we'll make it 0. Those words are not present in both the reviews, so we'll have 0 here. Okay. Now, what is the difference? The difference is, in fact, let's make it something like this. This pizza is very tasty and affordable. This pizza is not tasty and is affordable. Let's have and is affordable, right? One extra word I am adding. And here I will say this pizza is, I think is that's fine. Let's not make it more complex. Let's go with this only. So these are the differences basically, right? And if I see the difference, how many differences are, see again, I want to find the distance, right? We discussed about x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square root of that. That is the difference between the points. And that work, this equation is for 2 dimension. If I'm converting 2 dimension to n dimension, equation remains the same. So basically this minus this whole square gonna be 0. This minus this whole square gonna be 0, and so on. Here I will get some value because the values are different here. Here 0, here 0, here 0. Here again I'll get some difference. Then again 0, 0, 0. So if I calculate this, this became 0, 0, 0. Then I have 1, then 0, 0, 0, then 1, then 0, 0, 0. Total, I'll get the distances square root of 2. Right? That is the distance. So basically my length of vector 1 minus vector 2 can also be denoted as like this, the norm. Basically this is known as norm. Norm is nothing but square root of 2. right? That is that is the distance basically between the two vectors, which is actually not very big, right? This is actually not very big. Square root of 2 is okay, that's not very big. But at the same time, you can see that my reviews are actually different because of just single words, right? This word is bit of difference, and apart from that, there is one more difference, which is the this word. The very word is not there. Very word is not there. Only these two words are not there, right? Because of that, I am getting some difference. Bigger the differences, more the different type of comments are, right? Farther the distance, my distance will be farther when there are very uncommon words, right? If suppose this word and this word are different, I'll get some distance. This word and this word are different, I'll get some difference. This word and this word are different, I'll get some difference. So when there is, I have how many words are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 words are there. What is the maximum difference I can have? The maximum difference I can have is square root of 11, right? Suppose all words are different. Here I have all the words, here I have all the words which are different. Or obviously that will not be square root of difference, in fact more than that. Because if I have some words out here, I have some words out here and all are not matching, so my vector will also increase. But it's a basically the idea is it's a bigger difference. It will not be very much small. Right? So we are seeing some problem here that only few words are different, then my distance is not coming very much different. It's almost nearby. And again, this is the small example which we took. Obviously, in the real-time scenario, we may have more negative words or more different words than the correct same words. So my distance accordingly will change. Now, for example, let's say one more review. Let's say I have one more review where I have this word. The third review will take. In this third review, I have two pizzas. So when I have two pizza, what will happen in the pizza? This will become 2. This part will become 2 because I have the same word coming multiple times. And that will also lead to a increase in the distance. For example, let's say I have review 1. I have review 1 has a corresponding vector with a size of 11. Right, so vector value is 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 7 ones and 4 zeros. Right, so this is the vector for review 1. Now I'll create the vector for review 3, review 4, sorry. I'll create a vector for review 4. That will be of size 11 also. And here I have pizza 2 times is and, so basically this is not there. So this is not there. Pizza 2 times are there. Is 1 time is there. Right. So you can see automatically the words are same, but difference will be there. Right. The difference will be there. And it will unnecessarily increase my distance. And if further the distance between the two vectors, that means very separate reviews are that. Right. But the reviews are almost same. It's just you are using this word 2 times unnecessary. My distance is increasing. So to solve that type of problem, we have a concept of binary bag. We are talking about the bag of words. These are my bag of words. To solve this problem, we have a concept of binary bag of words. Binary bag of words. Now, binary bag of word means I will put the value as 0 and 1 only. I really don't care how many times you are coming. If pizza is there, make it 1. That's it. No matter you are coming 10 times, 15 times, 2 times, or 1 time. I will put it as 1. So it's a binary bag of word. Right? So in that case, my distance will not be dominated by the frequent words. That again, I am trying to save my unnecessary increase in the distance. Right. So again, it has this is the very basic concept of binary. The binary bag of words or a bag of words is very basic concept. Here there are some issues. Issues are like, for example, if I take this one, delicious and tasty, both are the same word, right? Both the words are same, has same meaning, but I am not able to consider that. I am considering tasty as a different word, delicious as a different word, but both are same. So obviously there will be an increase in distance will happen, because you're suppose this word is not present here, this word is not present here. You will say that yes, there is a difference in the word. Automatically distance will increase. But basically this word and this word are same. It's just synonyms. So this particular technique of bag of words will not able to take care of the words which are of same meaning. Right? That is one big problem. Right? Or I can say semantic words, same words, right? Semantic words. We cannot able to take care of that. Which again we will learn some more concepts where it already taken care. And we'll talk about that also. But this is the whole idea of bag of words. It's a very old technique. People are now not using it much. But yes, this is one of the techniques which we have. The next is, once I have everything with me, suppose I am getting all these reviews, right? I'll go back to my reviews page. I have all these reviews. The second thing which I want to do is, once I have all the words, I have to clean it. I have to pre-process my keywords, pre-process my dictionary basically. That means I have to do some cleaning on my data set. Cleaning as in, see, you have to think logically. This is and, right? These are the words which I can very well remove from the sentence. Because see, if I remove this, if I remove these words, right, will the meaning of the sentence change? No. Pizza very affordable, or pizza very tasty affordable. I can understand the meaning, right? If suppose I'm removing this, and pizza is not tasty affordable, I'm able to understand the meaning of the words or the sentence basically. Pizza delicious, cheap. Pizza tasty, pizza tastes good, right? So if I am removing these words, which are actually known as stop words in English, stop words. If I remove the stop words, in that case, I am not losing much information. In fact, I am trying to reduce the vector size, because if I have this, it's unnecessary taking and becoming as one dimension. More the stop words will be, my vector will increase, and my task will be to reduce the size of the vector. Because if I have a bigger vector, then obviously calculation will take time. So these words are of no use. I can very well remove that. So these are some of the pre-processing which I have to make. The first one is removal of the stop words. Removal of stop words. And the biggest problem in this is that not is also a stop word in English. Not is also stop word in English. So if I remove this not from here, there is no difference at all in this feedback, right? Pizza very tasty affordable. Here also pizza tasty affordable. Not is no longer there. So this is one of the problems when we are removing the stop words. There are some hacks which we will see. Right, so remove the stop words is my first task, and not is considered as a stop word. So while removing the stop word, it may not be the best approach basically to remove the stop words, because not is also one of the stop words. But yes, the benefit which we are going to get is it will reduce the size of the vector. That is my first step. Second step will be I will make the words in a small letters. I will make the words in a small letters. For example, let's say pizza and pizza. One is in capital letter, one is in small letter. It will be considered this as a separate word and this as a separate word. But both words are same, right? So I have to make my words in a small letter so that each word, these two words consider as one word only. It should not consider as two different words, right? So my second task will be I need to make all the words in a lowercase. That is again a part of a pre-processing. Third step will be known as stemming. I want to come to the root, or I want to come to the stem word. Basically, tasty, tasteful, tastes. All these are same word only, right? So we will just make it as taste. E I am just removing purposefully. The stem word is taste. So I will try to make the words in a base form, so that if tasty will come, or tasteful will come, or tastes will come, it will considered as a single word only, rather than me creating the three different vectors or three different dimensions, right? So that is one more step which you have to perform. For that, there are again packages we have in Python which we are going to use. One is known as Porter Stemmer, and second is also known as Snowball Stemmer. Right? These are the two packages. This is quite effective than Porter Stemmer. Right? So this is what we have to do. The third step. The fourth step which you have to perform is lemmatization, which is again coming from the natural language processing concept. In English, normally, if I have a sentence, right? I have a sentence. What we do, we break into words. Each sentence consists of many words, right? For example, this pizza is very tasty. This is the best. You have to understand this. Normally, when we are having a sentence, right? We break into words. So let's say I'm coming up with a sentence. This pizza is very tasty and is the best in, let's say, New space Zealand. Now, if you're trying to create individual words as a dimension, New will be separate, Zealand will be separate if you're having a space in between. Right? So I have to make this as a one word. It's not two words, it's one word only. So there are a lot many lemmatizers available which can take care of these type of words. The words like New Zealand, New York, right? These type of words, it takes care of it to make it a single word basically. And the fifth one is the biggest problem, tasty and delicious, which is still not taken care. Both are the same words. Both are not different words. But as of now, I am getting this as one dimension. I am getting this as one dimension. It's still not taken care, which can only be taken care by one of the next technique, which we will discuss in the next session. But as of now, it's not taken care yet. Same word, but my bag of word will create 2 points, basically 2 dimension, because we are not taking the semantic meaning of these words, and that is the reason 2 dimensions are getting in. So these are the pre-processing steps which you have to perform. Now, once we are done with it, few more issues we have which we have to take care of. Here we are going to discuss the concepts of unigram, bigram, and n-grams. Right? Very important concept. Now, how to understand this? Like, what is the meaning of this, basically? I have a review. This pizza is very tasty and affordable. My review 2 is this pizza is not tasty and affordable. And let me write this also as ampersand, or we can write and also. That's better. Okay. Now we know that not is the stop word, and I have to remove the not. And if I remove the not, then what will happen? And I'm removing all the other stop words as well. So my sentence will be, my first review will be, pizza is will not be there. It's a stop word. Very. In fact, very is also, I think, stop word that we can check later on. I think very is also stop word. So very is also gone, not is also gone. So we have tasty and affordable. So and is gone, affordable. Same way for the second review, pizza, tasty, affordable. Both the reviews are same, right? If someone will classify whether this review are same or not, they will say yes, it is. But actually, when I come back to my source, both are different, right? So why this is happening? Because I am going with a unigram. I am considering one word at a time, right? I am saying that, okay, I have pizza, I have tasty, and I have affordable. Right? That is how it works. Or if basically happens is what I'll first create my, it's like this. Again, you have to try to understand this. My first step will be, I will create a vector. I will create a vector where I will have this pizza is very tasty and affordable. And then you are removing the stop words. So I removed this, I removed this, I removed this, and I removed this. We are left with these 3 words. That is what happening. But now what I will do is I will go with bigrams. I will take 2 words at a time. That means now the story will be something like this. First word will be this pizza. Then pizza is. then, is, very. We are taking the combination of the words. And if I try to remove the stop words, I will not able to. I will not able to, because now it is considered this as entire word. Then we have very tasty. Then we have tasty and. Then we have and affordable. This is my new vector. We are considering the pair of words as a dimension. The benefit here I am getting is that very and not is also taken care. I am not removing that, right? So earlier, both the reviews are becoming the same. Now it is not. Because here I have very tasty, and somewhere in my vector for R2, I will have not tasty. So words are different, right? So my common words will be this pizza can be common. So let's create the vector for R2 also. Let's create the vector for R2 also. So I'll have this pizza. Both are same, right? Then pizza is, that is also same. Perfect. Is not. First difference I found out. Then we have not tasty. Second difference I found out. Then we have tasty and, that is common, tasty and, okay, and affordable. So I got two differences, right? This is my first difference and this is my second difference. So automatically I got some differences. Here I did not get any difference. Right? So that is the idea of bigrams. Same way we can have three words also, so that will become trigrams. If I have n words, n grams. Right? That is the whole idea basically. When n is equal to 1, unigram, n is equal to 2, bigram, n is equal to 3, trigrams, and n is equal to n, then n grams. With unigrams, if I go with unigram based bag of word, it actually discards my sequence information. Is very coming together, very tasty coming together, right? It's a sequence information which I am losing here. So unigram based bag of words discards the sequence information. It is trying to retain the same, or I can say it is trying to retain some of the sequence information or partial sequence information, but not everything. And also there is one more problem I can say. I have a bigrams. Suppose I am coming up with bigrams. My size of bigram will be bigger than unigrams. We'll see that practically later on. Size of bigram is greater than unigram. Basically the vector size is bigger than unigram. Right, so that is the whole idea about unigrams and bigrams and n-grams. Now the next concept which we have to discuss is known as, so whatever we have learned till now is basically one of the techniques, that is bag of words. There are other techniques as well. The second technique which we will discuss now will be TF IDF, also known as term frequency, inverse, document frequency, TF IDF. Right? Let's try to understand this concept. This is also a very interesting concept which we have. Suppose I have a review R1 which consists of various words. Let's say W1, W2, W3, W2, W6, W7. Right? These are different words in my sentence. I'm not writing the entire word. And I have the second review, which consists of, let's say, W1, W3, maybe W4, W4, W5, W6, and maybe W2. Right? That is what the sentences are. And maybe I can have one more word, let's say W8. Right? So this review consists of 6 words. Obviously, there are duplicates, that's fine. W2, W2 are there, so 6 words. I'm considering W2 2 times. And here I have 7 words. If I go with a normal bag of words approach, how the vector will look like? Let's say that this is my review 1, this is my review 2. Bag of words will look like what? 1, W2 2 times, W3 1 time, W6 1 time, W7 1 time. And W8 0 time. That is how my bag of word will look like. Normal bag of words, not binary. If I go to R2, I have W1, I have W2 1 time, W3 1 time, W4 1 time, 5, 8, and 7 all. 7 is not there. So 0. One more cell will come where I have 7 as 1 here and 0 here. Right? Let me recreate it quickly. So basically I will have review 1, review 2. I have 1 word, 2 word, W2 2 times, W3 1 time, W6 1 time, W7 1 time, W5 is 0, W8 is 0. Right? That is how it is. For here, W1 1 time, W2 1 time, W3 1 time, W5 1 time, W6 1 time, W8 1 time. So sorry, this is W8 1 time, W6 1 time, and W7 0 time. This is how it will look like, basically the back of Wall Street. If this is W7, that is how bag of words will be. But how TF-IDF works? Term frequency and inverse document term frequency, or in inverse document frequency, basically. Let me remove this. We know this concept now, so let me remove this. My term frequency is nothing but, if I go with the formula, my term frequency is nothing but number of times my WI occurs. WI can be anything, right? W1 or W2, whatever. Upon total words in my review J. For example, this is my review J. In that, I am looking for WI. If I take WI as 2, W2, review J is my review 1. So my TF for this particular review will be, I have 2 times W2. How many words are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words are there. Again, duplicates will be considered. Right? Duplicates will be considered. W2 came 2 times. I will consider that in the denominator. So my TF will be 2 by 6. Right? TF will be 2 by 6. And if I think logically, my TF will never cross 1. 2 by 6 is what? 1 by 3, which is 0.33. What is the maximum value I can have for TF? 1, right? Suppose I have 6 words and all 6 words are same. So my TF will be always varying from 0 to 1. That is the property. And when we have 0 to 1, I can very well go and tell everything in the form of a probability, right? My probability vary from 0 to 1. So if someone will ask, what is the probability that in review 1, I will have word W2? I can say 33% probability. 1 by 3. Right? So that is the whole idea of TF. This TF-IDF technique is developed by the Department of Information Retrieval. Those guys working on the website search and all those type of technologies, right? They have come up with this idea, Information Retrieval Department. That's a bag of words, TF-IDF, both, not only TF-IDF, bag of words as well. Now next is, what is IDF? Interesting concept. What is IDF? Inverse document frequency. Let's try to understand that. I'll try to accommodate here in this page only. The formula for IDF is, or I can say IDF will be, let's say WI in my document corpus. What is my document corpus? Document corpus is nothing but all the words from all the reviews. How many times my W is occurring in all the reviews, right? That is the idea. W2 occurring 1 time, 2 time, 3 time, right? That is what it is saying. WI occurring in my entire corpus. The formula will be log of n upon ni, where here capital N is number of documents, right? Number of documents, basically number of reviews. And my ni will be number of documents contains word I, right? N is my total number of reviews or number of documents. Again, in the NLP, we can say it as document also interchangeably. So capital N is number of reviews or number of documents, and small ni is nothing but number of documents containing the word WI. And if I think mathematically again, my capital N upon ni will always be greater than equal to 1. Suppose I have 2 reviews and both the reviews has W2. So this will become 1 by 1, or I can say 2 by 2. That is 1. The maximum I can have value is 1, right? The maximum value I can have is 1. Sorry, what I'm saying. The minimum value I can have is 1, and the maximum value can be any. Right? I suppose I have 1000 documents and the word contains in the 5 documents only. So 1000 by 5. Minimum I can have is 1000 by 1000. Like on I have a word W which is present in all the documents in all the reviews, right? Ni number of documents containing W word. In every document I have the word basically. So the minimum value of this particular fraction will be 1. Maximum it can be any. And if I apply log on top of that, Can I say it can have always be greater than equal to 0? What is log of 1? 0, right? So basically log of n upon ni will always be more than equal to 0. Always. So two things we got to know here, TF and IDF. TF consists of number of times my WI occur in my review J upon total words in review J. My IDF is the word, let's say WI word in my document corpus, right? Which can be denoted as log of n upon ni. Where document corpus is nothing but all the words in all my documents or all my reviews basically. And here I understood that this value will never be less than 0. It will be equal to or more than 0. Now, how to use these informations? But before that, one more interesting thing. Log of n upon ni is greater than equal to 0. Consider that if ni will increase. Consider that when ni will increase. Can I say n upon ni will decrease? Because my denominator is increasing, so automatically my whole fraction will decrease. And if whole fraction will decrease, what will happen to my log of n upon ni? That is also decreased. Because log is a monotonic function. Log is a monotonic function. Which means that, what is monotonic function basically? If something is increasing, other thing is also increasing. If my x is increasing, my function of x is also gonna increase. This type of function is known as monotonically increasing function. Same way, if my x is decreasing, my fx will also decrease. This type of function is known as monotonically decreasing function. Right? You can see that. Let's say log, how the behavior of log will look like. Let's try to understand that. You can very well go to the Google. You can say plot log of x. You can see here. Let me zoom in. Zoom out, sorry. So you can see it is increasing, right? As in when my value of x is increasing, my f of x is increasing. It's a monotonically increasing function. And obviously when value is decreasing, so this will also decrease. So that is what we are discussing here. That if my n upon ni will decrease, then my log of n upon ni will also decrease. Okay. Now with that understanding, if I say, if my ni is large, for example, let's say ni is large means what? For example, let's say the pizza, right? This the will be almost in every sentence, right? If my the is present in every sentence, that means n upon ni will be 1. If n upon ni will be 1, then my IDF will be lower, right? Log of 1 is what? 0. IDF will be lower. So if Ni is large, for example, then my IDF will be lower. So from here, what I'm understanding is that if IDF says, or I can say, so IDF says basically, so what IDF says is, if my WI word is more frequent, my IDF will be low. And if my WI is less frequent, then my IDF will be high automatically, because this is low, right? What is IDF? The word in the entire corpus, not in a sentence. We are discussing about the word in the corpus. So in this entire corpus means in every review, I am finding the. That is what we discussed, right? So basically in the entire corpus, if I have the word the coming multiple times, that means it is present in almost every review. And if it is present in every review, that means my IDF is low. And if that word is present very less, for example, let's have some very tough word, maybe dramatically, right? Dramatically. Now this word is not coming a lot in all of my reviews, so automatically my IDF gonna be increase, right? That is how IDF works. If in my entire document corpus the word is very much huge in number, my IDF will be low. And if the word is very less frequent, then IDF will be high. And which makes sense, right? In that also we in bag of word also we are removing the stop words, and I know that stop words are more frequent in number. Here we are just removing it, or we can say here we are just applying the law of that, so automatically the weightage of those words decreasing, right? Now I have the reviews. Let's say I have two reviews, R1 and R2. Let's have certain words here, or let me write words like this: W1, W2, W3, W2, W4. Here I have W1, W3, W5, W7, W2, and so on. Various reviews are there. So now, if I come to my population of the vector, suppose I want to populate my W2. What value will I populate here? I know TF, I know IDF. With these concepts, I have to populate this value. Right? So I have to put something here. And that something will be nothing but we will fill the value here, right? Which is nothing but TF of word W2 in my review 1 multiply by IDF of word W2 in my entire corpus. TF of word 2 in my review 1 multiply by IDF of word 2 in my entire corpus. In bag of words, what we were doing? We were doing the occurrences of W2 in my review 1. That is what we are doing, right? Occurrence of word W in my review 1. Only 2 times, so I'll put it 2. But here I'm not doing that. Here I'm multiplying TF of the word which is present in the review multiplied by IDF of word in the entire document corpus. So from here we can conclude basically the value which you are populating here if I think logically after the calculations which we have understand, if I write the conclusion, I can say if in TF-IDF basically, if my WI is more often, right? If my WI is more often in the sentence, if my WI is more often in the sentence, what will happen to my TF? It's gonna increase. Yes, no? If I go back to the formula, number of times WI occur upon total number of words. If I have more often, so automatically the probability will increase, right? So here, if my WI is more often coming in the sentence, my TF gonna be increase. And if my WI is rare in document corpus, then what will happen? My IDF will also increase. IDF. Now try to understand that. In a sentence, if that word is coming a lot, but overall that word is not that very much, my ultimate TF IDF value will be high, right? So if I conclude, we are giving more weightage to my WI, which is rare in document, or I can say rare in document corpus, and more in the review. That is what we are saying, right? If a word is rare in the document corpus and more in the review, if rare in the document corpus, my IDF is increasing. Sorry, rare in the document corpus, IDF is increasing. More in the review, TF is increasing. And what I am populating in my vector? I am populating TF into IDF. So automatically I am actually putting the bigger values. Right? So that is the whole idea. We are giving more weightage to the words which are rare in the document corpus and more in the review. Right? That is how TF-IDF works. But again, one limitation is still there. One limitation is still there. The limitation is semantic words. Right? That tasty and delicious. Still not taken care. TF-IDF is not taking care of that type of scenarios as of now. This technique is not going to help me. But this gives me a good understanding. Here, if I'm not removing the stop words and everything, that's fine, right? Automatically, the value will be less and not be considered. So that is how this entire concept of TF-IDF works.